What's up, Remnants? Peace, peace, peace. Weirdo gang, y'all know what it is. This is Ernest, one half of Remnants Gathering. Just wanted to get on here and share some. I want to share something in general, but this one would probably be most centered around my brothers, men, young men, older men. It doesn't matter. If you are working on yourself and you consciously working on yourself, trying to better yourself in regards to just being a better man, better father, better mate, a better leader, a confident man, an assertive man, an alpha man, this one is for you. But it first begins with you doing some work on yourself. We are all flawed. We have been conditioned and programmed to have certain beliefs, certain perspectives about how life goes. We've been taught different aspects about manhood by fragmented individuals that taught the best that they knew how. And so for the next few minutes, I want to personally speak from experience as it relates to becoming that better man, becoming that true king, becoming a true God. So, soul work. Lately I've been sharing videos, just giving a glimpse of what my experience has been like doing this thing called shadow working. And basically it's about going within and really getting to the bottom of a lot of rooted issues from, as I've stated before, previous programs, whether they're religious programming, whether there's the societal expectation programs of what it is to be a man, how men should operate, how we should express ourselves, and how we should interact as far as being romantic in that particular aspect. And so I can't do nothing but look at myself. I do not concern myself as much as to what another man experience is, but I can only glean from testimonies and experiences that other men share. But for me and this personal journey that I've been on to better myself, I'm continually going through the phases, going through the ups and downs. It's like being on a roller coaster for me. I want to be better. I want to get to a place of self-mastery. It's all about knowledge of self. All about knowledge of self. And just to begin to get into my experiences, I've been practicing doing this thing day by day. I make strides. It could be my strides is a few steps, and then I revert back and fall back. And that noise that you hear, y'all bear with me, that's Spinks. Spinks is eating right now. But one thing that I've come to learn as in regards to understanding and becoming aware of myself is how strong my ego is. Now, if you are listening and watching this video, maybe you don't struggle with your ego wanting to rule. But for me, my ego wants to rule. My ego wants to keep me positioned in a certain way to where I will continue to be a slave to the programming. And so I continually I constantly find myself in a low vibration. And what I mean by that, well, first of all, I'm so grateful for my wife. I'm so grateful for having an intuitive, empathic, uh, um, soul working, unconditional loving mate. My wife is so phenomenal. And just to start there is to say that she has the utmost patience and she's diligent and she's committed and she's dedicated and faithful to the work of us being twin flame and going through the process together. Because if you don't know, when you come together with your twin flame, it's not just about, oh, okay, all things are working wonderfully. Mind you, things will work wonderfully, but you still have baggage unless you were already doing some work. But when two unique individuals come together, there's a great deal of working through a lot of the past in regards to relationships. When you've been in past relationships, there have been patterns formed, some tendencies, some expectations, whether they were all positive expectations or whether sometimes they may have been rooted in selfishness. But you have to begin to work through these things now that you've come into this new relationship, this universal relationship. And so I find myself all the time, my ego kicks in, and basically it's like I'm putting my foot in my mouth, or it's like I'm putting my foot up my ass, because I'll respond unnecessarily. I get easily offended. I'm quick to become agitated. And then what happens from that is I respond in ways that may be harsh, may be mean, may be selfish, may be unconsiderate. And for me, that's not acceptable, because I have a queen that is so worthy of all the love and all the consideration and all the compassion and passion that she deserves. She's a goddess. And so I see her as such, and it's my responsibility to match that. And so as a God, I'm working through becoming that God man who I know that I am. And so we are working through it. But my ego, one of the things I want to encourage to you, my brothers, is that you would not be emotionally handicapped. Again, we've been programmed, and in this society, we've been chauvinistic to feel like we must be macho. In all respects, we're considered weak when we show too many emotions, when we show too much sensitivity, and then when we are presenting ourselves as being vulnerable. Those are some things that we're not taught to do as men, as young men, as men, as older men. We're not taught to be emotionally connected. We're not taught to be sensitive. We're not to our own feelings as well as the feelings of our significant other, our girlfriends, our wives, etc. Now, I would say the closest emotional attachment you may have is your mother. Some it could possibly be a sister. Some it may be the grandmother. But again, those relationships are nothing like a twin flame relationship. Those relationships are nothing like a romantic relationship. Now, your woman wants to be connected. We all understand that men and women are wired differently. Well, the women want that emotional connection, but coming into it as men, we are not all accustomed to emotionally connecting. And then what happens is when our women want to emotionally connect and they present these opportunities and speak on it and bring up conversations and try to have a dialogue about certain things that engages us emotionally, we deject, we deflect. We would rather spend time playing video games. We would rather spend time. It could be something else to pass the time by, whether it's hanging with friends, just going out, but never allowing ourselves to be emotionally connected to our women. Um, in the midst of having to be emotionally connected, one of the aspects in which I find is vulnerability. To be vulnerable to my wife is necessary, but coming into it, having vulnerability was unheard of. And so now I'm in the place of where I'm constantly, the mirror is held up before me to be mindful, to be vulnerable. How can we fully connect and be totally engaged with one another if I'm dejected and deflecting, as well as not being vulnerable? She needs to know my vulnerabilities. She wants to embrace me fully, and so to embrace me fully is like letting all the guard down. And so if we can't let the guard down with anyone, we should especially be able to let the guard down with our mates. And that's why we see so much disappointment. That's why we see so much divorce. That's why we see so much separation in our relationships, because as men we fail to, and I'm making this bold statement, but as men in general we fail to be emotionally attached. The way our emotions, the way we are wired, the emotional attachment that we want to make is through sex. That's how we as men want to express our emotions. The women want to talk. They may ask. I'm not gonna call it interrogation, but they may ask a lot of questions. They want to get to the root of this. They want to get to the root of that. Why you feel like this? Why you feel like that? And most of the time our answer is, I don't know. Well, I just do. But that's why the shadow aspect of it is important, because it helps us to go within and to find out just why we do the things that we do. Just why do we feel the way we feel? And so for me, again, it has been challenging because I don't want to feel that feeling of uncomfortableness. I don't want to be put in the place of you know what I'm saying? You asking me to expose everything about me. You asking me to like divulge my entire heart. It's like opening up my heart and you can see everything. You can see my nasty side. You can see my perverted side. You can see my that is the most important aspect of us being in the relationship, is that we need to be able to see each other that way. And guess what? When you can see each other that way, it helps you, because now you're fully exposed. And guess what? Those things, you might feel like, well, to an extent, I don't need to open myself up that much. But that's not true, because a true connection and a true oneness, because that's what we are seeking to attain. We're seeking to attain that oneness. True oneness means that you understand the necessity and you are as though you're an open book. Now, how can you be fully one with your mate when you don't know yourself? You don't understand yourself. You don't know why you get mad. You don't know why you get offended. You don't know why you get agitated. You don't know why you can become frustrated at any given time in any situation based off of body language, based off of words being said or words that are not said. But guess what? That's us men who have to go within and figure and learn and accept and begin integrating those deeper deficiencies, those deeper issues that we have within our character, within our soul. And until we begin to do these things, we won't see progress in our relationships. We won't see the fullness and the blissness of the way a true love, a true unconditional love relationship, a true romantic love relationship should be. And so again, I'm starting with me. I look in the mirror, and each and every time that I fail in the area of being all that I need to be for my wife, instead of it being more and more pushing me away, it's becoming more and more a pulling and a drawing. I need that encouragement. I need that motivation. And I'm grateful, so grateful, that she is the one that when she also holds the mirror, but she also holds the rope. She holds that mirror up so I can see my ugly self, my selfishness, my lies, because not telling the whole truth or not telling the whole story is a lie. If you holding back any portions of it, that's a lie. But the things that I'm talking about, for you that are listening, the things that I'm talking about is coming from a state of maturity. It's coming from a state of, I ain't got nothing to hide. I ain't got no games to play with you. I done been there and done all of that. I'm trying to build. I'm trying to have a meaningful relationship. I'm trying to experience that type of love that you can only dream about. That type of love that you hear some people talk about. But I want to experience it for myself. I want us to experience it within this relationship. And so that's where I'm coming from. I'm speaking to individuals that are on that frequency. That's what all of this is about. That's why you need to do shadow work. That's why you need to go within. That's why you need to learn how to be emotionally connected. That's why you need to learn how to be vulnerable. All of these things help to build that type of relationship that you're desiring. But other than that, if you want to still want to play games and you want to have side chicks and you want to do this and do that, this ain't for you. Because no, when I call myself being a player, attaching? No. So be encouraged, brothers. If this is you that I'm talking to and this resonates with you, just be patient with yourself. That's what I'm in the place of right now, understanding that I just have to be more and more patient with myself. I hate failure. I hate not being able to master a thing. And so when it comes to meditation, when it comes to being consistent, it's frustrating to me that the ego rises up and causes me to not stay committed and focused at my desire, at my aim. because there is so much to be gained. And so the ego wants to keep me away from all of that, from all of the, like I say, the blissness, because I've learned the more and more I can be who I am supposed to be, as the man, as the head, if you want to look at it from that paradigm, I unlock my wife. And for you men, for those of you, as you continue to grow, as you continue to better yourself, the more and more that you're becoming aligned with your authentic self, and the more that woman can feel you, the more you are connected emotionally, spiritually, you're unlocking the treasure within that woman. And I know you want that, because if you ain't never experienced it, how do you know what you missing? Or how you don't know what you missing? So, again, we got to be vulnerable. Do not be emotionally handicapped. Go within and learn how to integrate your shadow. Integrate your ego. My ego will no longer take control. My higher self will be in control. You see, you got your higher self and your lower self, and they're both positioning themselves to take the authority. And so one is gonna win. So I appreciate each and every one of you. If I appreciate each and every one of you, I believe and I hope that something has been shared that will encourage you on your journey. And as Cam and I always say, your third eye has just been kissed.